Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on mysterious and weird, true stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Case file number 728, written by Salty Sweet 420, The Chobani Mystery. I keep a close track of everything I eat, counting calories and trying to limit myself so I don't binge. I keep a list on my calendar app of everything I eat every day of the week, listing times, calories if I know them, serving sizes, and so on. Today, at around 1:30 p.m., I decided to eat my first food of the day. I had only woken up a few hours ago and didn't feel that hungry, but I knew it was best to eat something so I could at least function. I decided to eat a Chobani flip. I checked the fridge. The only one we had left was a key lime pie flavored one. It was on top of a container of beef stew, and next to what I think was a container of fruit and some energy drink. I don't remember exactly. It was set diagonally. I know for a fact it was the last one because I checked behind it for others and there were none. I went to the living room so I could eat while watching TV. I eat slowly as it makes me feel less hungry. I remember every bite I took vividly. I also remember writing it down in the notes for today in my calendar. I remember eating the whole thing, toppings and all. I even chewed on the plastic cover for a bit before getting up and throwing it away in the trash in the kitchen. I sat on my phone for a few minutes, scrolling through Twitter or something. At around 1:46, I thought, I should drink some water so I'm not hungry later. So I went to the fridge to get a water bottle. Then, I noticed the yogurt I had just eaten was in the same spot it had been before. At first I thought I had zoned out and instead of throwing it away, I put it back in the fridge. But it was completely full, unopened. It didn't even have bite marks on the packaging, and it was so cold it's not like someone put it in there and I just didn't notice. The only other person home is my mom, and she's been upstairs on the phone or something for about half an hour. I don't know. I can just hear her talking from downstairs because she never closes her door. She couldn't have come down. I would have known because the stairs that go upstairs and downstairs are in the living room where I was eating. For a while I just sat there and thought, did I imagine eating it? Was there another that I just didn't notice? Did my mom somehow teleport downstairs and put another one in the fridge? Did someone else come in, replace it, and leave? Why would anyone do that? There's no point. I then thought to check my calendar app to see if I ever even ate it, or at least logged it down. I looked and the log wasn't there. I checked the other dates to see if it was there and I just put it on the wrong date. Nothing. I'm so confused. What happened? Did I imagine eating it, really? I didn't fall asleep. My dreams are very strange and I can often tell when I'm dreaming because it looks faded and I don't have any actual features, just a vague silhouette of a body. But I remember seeing how I grabbed the spoon and thinking it was funny. I never learned how to hold pencils and cutlery, so I just hold them however is most comfortable at the moment. Seeing myself and the yogurt in the mirror across the couch, seeing myself and the yogurt in a reflection of the TV before I turned it on. So what's going on? If there's a logical explanation, please tell me. Is this just déjà vu or fake memory or something? I added as much detail as possible because I really want an explanation for this. It sounds silly, but it's really stressing me out. I'm scared that I went to a different dimension where I didn't need it or something. Case file number 729, written by siiinsemilla. He foretold his own demise. Roughly 10 years ago, I was a restless 15-year-old developing a range of mental issues that led to a heavy substance addiction a few years later, all caused by an emerging borderline personality disorder. I'm almost 4 years clean now, I think. I found a sort of balance, so I'm happy for myself. I'm saying all this to paint the picture of those difficult years and the impact this event had on me. At the time, I met a person in school, LL, notorious for being the edgy emo that sings in a metal band, and me being the wannabe edgy emo girlfriend of a metal band kid, I was super invested. He was particularly weird, not in tune with this world. He lived in his own reality and having to survive in this world was hard, like he had difficulty understanding the basic rules of this society, and I related so much with that. Once, he fought with his parents and walked 20 kilometers in the middle of the night and walked through the woods just to come to my garden, left a heartfelt page letter on my patio, and spent the night walking through the countryside near my village. I still have that letter. On the other hand, I had a hard time believing what he was saying to me. His stories were a little too good. He always found himself in shenanigans or adventures, and I took these as stories, nothing more. We still enjoyed each other's company as a weird, infamous smoking emo couple. But there was a story he told in secrecy with such heartfelt emotions that it struck me, and I vividly remember that day. He confessed to me that he believed that he was an indigo child, and he knew when he would die. I was perplexed but intrigued, and asked for more information. Throughout his life, he always had this realization or intrusive thought that accompanied him, and he came to accept this fate. LL would die at 19 in a lot of pain. He saw besides himself blood and syringes, and no drugs involved, only a cut. We severed contact sometime after, when my substance addiction inevitably drove me away from all my previous close friends. Years later, I was 17 and still in high school. I remember that particular moment so clearly in my mind, like this happened yesterday. We were preparing to leave for the day at 1 p.m., and in the halls a large number of people were in clear shock. I asked one of my friends what all the fuss was about, and she told me that LL was killed. My first reaction? I laughed. For a second in my delusional mind, I thought that he was trolling everyone or trying to joke, leveraging on the fact that he always exaggerated stories about himself. For 15 minutes, I was blissfully delusional until someone else had more details. He was riding his bike with his bandmates to practice. When crossing the street, a driver on a big truck transporting gravel didn't see him and crushed him under the wheels of the vehicle. But at the time, LL wasn't dead. He was immediately transferred to an ambulance where he died, surrounded by pools of his own blood and paramedics trying to deal with multiple organ damage and internal bleeding. In that precise moment, what he said to me years prior resurfaced in my memory, and I literally froze. I could see myself in a third-person perspective. There was my life before, and then there was my life after that event. I really don't know how LL predicted his death, knowing so much that he described the exact moment to me, down to the circumstances and his precise age. After this, I really don't know what to think. I don't have any conclusions. I'm just afraid. I'm still baffled to this day. If you have similar stories, please share. I really need to try to understand what's happening here. How is this possible in a world where the future isn't already written? Case notes for file 729. He foretold of his own demise. I'm truly sorry for your bewildering loss. I wonder how he felt, fully believing that he was going to die and he was predicting his own death years before. To believe you're going to die, I suppose that explains a lot of his actions. He just didn't care because he didn't think he'd be around for very long. I really hope he was able to cherish every moment. I also hope that he's still rocking around in some alternate universe. If quantum immortality is true, which I really do believe, then he probably is. Now also related to free will and how this story can be true while free will is still true as well and valid. Okay, so how do I explain this? Think of life as a long road, only there are branching paths everywhere. Every choice we can make is a different path, and we have to walk it. We have to actively choose which path we go down. Of course, we don't know where the path is going to end, and every single potential choice is another branching path in this long road of life. Now, your friend may have been able to predict the path that he was going to take, but he still had to choose to take it. And it was only one possible path of almost infinite, gazillions, googleplexes of possible variations and choices we can make. That's why there are so many alternate universes. Every potential branching path is a new universe spawned, where in that universe you took that path. Now, to actually know which path they're going to take is impossible. But if you had enough computational power, like a Matryoshka brain, which is like an entire solar system, or is it a galaxy of just pure computing power, then maybe you could predict where the path would go, but only one singular path. It's like someone foretold the future and then transmitted that information into his mind. and then he just went with it. The future that he would take after seeing the future. That's quite a play. In the end though, we can't know every single path. In fact, we can't really know even 2 branches ahead. We just have to be very mindful of the choices we make, because they are so unknown.